Okay, if you're a cat person, you know the feeling. That moment of dread when you walk into a room and, yep, there it is, an unwelcome little surprise on the floor. It is so frustrating, it's confusing, and honestly, it can make you feel kind of helpless. But don't worry, today we are putting on our detective hats because we're going to crack one of the most common and frustrating feline mysteries out there.
First things first, let's get this out of the way. You are not alone in this, not even close. In fact, house soiling is the single biggest behavioral reason that cats end up in shelters. So this isn't just some minor annoyance, right? It's a really serious issue that can, unfortunately, break the bond between you and your cat. But understanding the problem is the absolute first step to solving it. So here's our game plan for this investigation. We're going to start with the basics, then make our first and most important stop, the vet. After that, we'll dive in and analyze the evidence, figure out your cat's motive, and then I'll walk you through a 5-step action plan to hopefully close this case for good. Now, before we even start talking about behavior, our first stop is totally non-negotiable. You have to go to the vet. A lot of the time, a cat going outside the box is actually a cry for help. They might be trying to tell you that they're in pain or that something's wrong. Ruling out a medical issue is the foundation for this whole investigation. You just can't skip this step. So what are the usual medical suspects? Well, for older cats, arthritis is a huge one, and it's so often overlooked. Think about it. Just climbing into a high-sided box could be really painful for them. It could also be stomach issues like constipation or diarrhea that make using the box an unpleasant experience. And that creates a negative association. Heck, even things like diabetes or hyperthyroidism can be to blame. Your vet is the only one who can definitively clear these suspects. Okay, so you've been to the vet, and your cat gets a clean bill of health. Awesome. Now our investigation shifts into the behavioral phase. It's time to really start thinking like a cat detective. Every accident is a clue. Your cat isn't being bad, they're communicating. And our job is to figure out what they're trying to say. Every good detective needs a map. And for us, this diagnostic flowchart is it. So follow me here. Once we've ruled out medical issues right at the top, our path splits in two. And this first fork in the road is critical. Is our cat marking or are they inappropriately toileting? The answer to that question changes absolutely everything. So let's break down the evidence. Marking is all about communication. Think of it like your cat leaving a message. For urine, you'll often see a standing cat, tail high and quivering, spraying a small amount on a vertical surface like a wall. Inappropriate toileting, on the other hand, is just that, emptying their bladder or bowels, but in the wrong spot. You'll see the classic squatting posture, a much larger volume of pee or poop, and it's usually on a horizontal surface, like a rug or your comforter. So, which scene matches your crime scene? All right, so now that we figured out the what, we can start digging into the why. What is the motive here? The answer almost always boils down to one of three things. They have an aversion to the litter box, they have a preference for a different spot, or they're dealing with some underlying anxiety. Litter box aversion is basically a fancy way of saying your cat has a problem with the bathroom itself. And let's be honest, the number one reason for this? A dirty box. I mean, cats are incredibly clean creatures. If their toilet isn't up to their standards, they're going to find a new one. Other culprits could be a covered box that traps smells, a box that's just too small, or even those plastic liners that can snag their claws. Next up is the substrate, the litter itself. Cats have super sensitive noses, and a lot of them really hate scented litters. They also care about texture. Most cats naturally prefer a fine, soft material, which is why your classic unscented, clumping clay litter is usually a safe bet. If your cat is suddenly going on a soft rug, they might just be telling you, hey, I prefer this texture. And what about location, 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 location? A cat needs to feel safe and secure when they're in such a vulnerable position. A litter box that's right next to a loud washing machine or in a busy hallway can be really scary. In a home with multiple cats, one cat might be guarding the box, forcing the other one to find a safer place to go. Now here's the real plot twist. Anxiety is almost always a secret accomplice in these cases. A cat might tolerate a slightly less than perfect litter box for years. But then, you bring home a new puppy, or a neighborhood cat starts hanging out by the window, that extra stress just lowers their tolerance, and all of a sudden that okay-ish litter box is now completely unacceptable. Anxiety is the trigger that turns a minor issue into a major problem. All right, detective, we have analyzed the evidence. We have a list of likely motives. It is time to switch from investigation to action. Here is your 5-step plan to solve this thing and bring some peace back to your home. So our action plan has 5 key parts. First, we're going to make the litter box absolutely irresistible.
Second, we're going to give them more and better options. Third, we're tackling that stress head-on. Fourth, we are going to get rid of any lingering evidence of past crimes. And finally, we'll cover the one golden rule that you absolutely cannot break. Okay, first up, let's create the 5-star resort of litter boxes. Most cats prefer big, open boxes, not the covered kind. They should be scooped at least once a day and filled with a soft, unscented clumping litter. And then you have to follow the golden N+1 rule. That's 1 litter box per cat in your house, plus 1 extra. Seriously, if you remember nothing else, remember this. 2 cats means you need 3 boxes. And they need to be in different, quiet locations, not all lined up in a row. Next, let's tackle that anxiety. We want to enrich your cat's world to build up their confidence. This means giving them vertical space like cat trees, plenty of scratching posts, and having predictable daily play sessions. If stray cats outside are the trigger, try putting some privacy film on the bottom half of your windows. A calm, confident cat is much less likely to have accidents. Now, this step is so important. If you don't clean up accidents the right way, your cat's powerful nose will just see that spot as the new bathroom. You have to use an enzymatic cleaner. Think of the enzymes as little Pac-Man that literally eat and break down the odor molecules in the urine, destroying them completely. Absolutely avoid any ammonia-based cleaners. They can smell like urine to a cat. And whatever you do, do not use a steam cleaner or any heat. That will permanently cook the stain and the smell right into your carpet fibers. And this is it, the most important rule of all. Never, ever, ever punish your cat for having an accident, rubbing their nose in it, yelling at them. None of it works. All it does is make them afraid of you. And as we've already learned, fear and anxiety are the root causes of this problem in the first place. It will only damage your bond and make the whole situation so much worse. So we've gathered all the clues, we've identified the motive, and we've laid out a clear plan of action. As we get ready to close this case file, there is one final core principle that really ties everything together and is the ultimate key to your success. This quote from Dr. Megan Herron, a veterinary behaviorist, really says it all. You can't just throw random solutions at the wall and see what sticks. You have to first understand the why. Is it pain? Is it the litter? Is it stress from another cat? Once you diagnose the motivation, the right way to treat it becomes so much clearer. You have to be a detective before you can be a problem solver. So, the investigation is now in your hands. This isn't about having a bad cat. It's about having a cat that is desperately trying to tell you something is wrong. By approaching this with patience, empathy, and a detective's sharp eye for detail, you really can solve this mystery. So, what's the first clue you're going to look for?